As you know, this is our traditional greeting because you are guys from all over the world. And we don't know that you're looking at from morning, from evening, or even like very late or night. So that's why we have this traditional greeting. Welcome our sixth global mentorship session, and we are so happy to share our experience to you today. We will have amazing three outstanding Chevening scholars. Two of them are already alumni like me, and one of them is a fellow of Chevening scholar Aminata. So, guys, floor is for you. Just introduce yourself, and we can start already official part.
Thank you, Maya, for having me here today again. It's nice to always see you in the mentorship. This is Hanan Ahmed from Kurdistan region. I'm Chevening alumna. I studied at Queen Mary University of London, minimally invasive dentistry course. So I am a dentist. I know very limited number of dentists usually get the scholarship. Today, I will share with you my own experience, some tips and tricks related to the interview preparation, which I hope it helps you to ace the interview and smash the interview. Thank you.
Hi everyone. So my name is Onkarabile Marumo and I'm also an alumni. Yay. Was part of the 2022-2023 cohort. And yeah, I'll also just be sharing some of my journey, some advice, some things I've learned along the way. And yeah, I think this is just going to be a fun session. So yeah, let's get started.
Hi everyone, my name is Aminata Jaide. I'm currently a Chevening scholar studying at the University of Sussex. I am a beneficiary of the Chevening Global Mentorship. I'm a mentee to Maya personally, and I'll be sharing my experience with regards to the Chevening interview and some tips on how to ace your Chevening interview. So feels good to be back. Thank you.
Thank you so much, guys. On CarPlay, you can change the slide, and who is the first, you can go for it. Floor is for you.
It's me. Yeah, thank you. Okay, guys, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Congratulations, you made it to a significant milestone to reaching this stage, and you should be proud of yourself. You should be happy, have energy and passion to work more on yourself, to tell them the real story, the thing that you write down on your essay that doesn't have any life, but you will give the life to the story. So you have enough time to get ready, to go to the interview, to tell them who you really are, your story, your journey, your success, and your achievements. So I will always start with the term to relax. I know it is easy to say relax, but you should relax in order to be the best version of yourself on the day of the interview. It is an interview, it's not an exam, but however, you have to do some preparation before the interview. You have to know every single details of your application to be ready for the big day. You have to be honest, you have to be realistic, and to stand out of the other outstanding Cheveners shortlisted candidate. As you know, it is a very competitive scholarship, and all of you are great, and all of you are good, but there should be some the best out of the crew, right? So to be the best out of the crew, you have to do some work, you have to work hard. And I want to say something. Believe me, Maya and Ankara maybe agree with me. This stage is better than when you travel to the UK. The preparation stage has like a kind of joyful and excitement. You will never forget this. It is better for myself. I wish I go back to 2021, 2022 during this stage. Believe me, I want to go back. Then Be clear, be precise and concise. Don't make long answers. Um, being concise and precise is a key. So the panels will be concentrated with you. They will be excited, like they are waiting. What is the other word is gonna come out from your mouth? What you gonna tell them? If you make the answer is very long, they will get bored. To be honest, and you will lose some mark on the score related to this. Then you have to brainstorm your idea. You have to read your application very, very well. You have to know every single detail you wrote on your essays, the numbers, the name, the challenge, and all statistics that you have mentioned in the essay. You have to be familiar with it. As well as there is one point, like every one of us, when we write down our essay, we might not be familiar with essay writing because we are from countries that we are not used to. So there might be some gaps related to the information in our essays. When you reread your essay, you will notice this gap. You will notice these things that need elaboration. So concentrate on these gaps and question marks that you left on your essays. They might notice this, so you have an answer for it in case they ask you in the interview. You have to expect all relevant question. The things that's happening now in Iraq, and most of the candidates, they found it weird that when they go to the interview, they didn't ask introduce yourself. They go straight forward to the how you gonna convince other people to show your leadership skills. They can't, and this has happened with me. I was ready to introduce myself, but they went to a very kind of difficult question. So you have to expect all things related to your essay, things not related to your essays, a generic question, things related to the UK culture, activities related to you, how you think about leader and manager and stuff like that. So expect everything in the interview. You have to research very well. Check the UK website, check the SDG goal, Sustainable Developmental Goal website, check UK priority in your country, check the university website. All these websites are very, and also Chevening website itself, it includes certain activities and things that Chevening do for their scholars during the year in the UK, and also upcoming or future plans and events. Check all these things, write down the relevant things to your field and your major and your course. So you will be ready for everything. Whatever they ask you during the interview, you have everything with you to answer them. And then when you answer the question during the interview, definitely you have to smile. You have to show them passion and vision. Like, don't talk like you are worried and you can't talk, or you are sick or something like that. Use your body language, your facial expression and smiling, and show them the passion and the person that the leader inside you. You have to show them the leader inside you, the passionate person, the person who came to the interview with a vision and mission, which you mentioned during the last essay, which is the career plan. You have to show them this. You have to show them the energy, so you will be outstanding comparing to the other applicants. Then practice, practice, practice. I know many people said that we didn't practice, we just went to the interview. It is life-changing experience. It's a very competitive. Like, why you won't work hard on yourself for 2 weeks or 1 week or 10 days maybe to get yourself ready for this, and you will never regret later on, whatever the result is. You are you did what you have to do, right? And then during the practicing, you have to time yourself. What I used to do during the preparation stage, I get my camera and I used to record myself. I was talking to myself in front of the mirror, and also I put a timer. I tried my answer between 2 minutes or 3 minutes at maximum. I don't want a very long, boring answer. Also, I did around 10 mock interviews. Mock interviews is really important. Getting feedback from alumni, from a shortlisted candidate just like you in your field or other fields, it really helps. and will give you kind of self-confidence prior going to the interview. And of course, for your key examples, the leadership example and networking example, please use the STAR approach. It's an easy approach. S stand for situation, T task, A action, R result. And this way, the panel uh, will start like they are waiting for certain things. For example, what was the situation? What was the task and the action, and what was the result of this leadership example that you showed your potential as a leader and change maker in your community. So this is the easiest and the best way to answer the leadership and networking example. And remember, your goal is Chevening goal. It's not a dream, it is a reality. You can make it through this master degree that you will gain in the UK, through the experience and the knowledge that you will gain throughout this year of studying in the UK. So you have to make them convinced that this is a real plan. You will achieve it once you come back from the UK to your home country. It is another story if you come back and if you can't do it or the situation or the plan is different. But during the interview, you have to believe yourself. You have to believe the plan and the goal and make them believe in you and in your plan. And of course, appearances matter. Like wear a nice suit, you wear your makeup, and look elegant and fancy during the interview. Um, Always remind yourself during the interview to smile. I always say this. My facial expression is not smiley face. I always look mad. Actually, I'm not, but this is how I look. So during the interview, I was reminding myself between the questions, Hanan smile, like okay, that smile during when it is needed, when it is um, not on in irrelevant conditions. For sure, I use my facial expression when getting mad about the situation in my field and stuff, but always remind yourself to smile, because this will give it will touch their heart, like you will leave your fingerprint, right? During the interview, your character and your personality is really matter. This is all I have. Like this is all it came to my mind when I prepared the slide. I think my colleagues will continue with their own experience as well. But I want to say also before, I don't know if I mentioned at the beginning, please, this is my own experience. Some of the things that I have mentioned is mentioned in the Chevening website, but the other things is what I feel or what I believe is the best thing to do. Maya, for example, she might agree and she might not agree with me, and so on. So this is not a rule or something. It is just what I feel, and deep down I wanted to convey and transfer to other candidates so they can get benefit. And thank you so much. And if you have any question, I put my account there. You can come and ask me whenever you want. And during the convenient time, I will answer your question definitely. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Hanan.
Thank
Always
you.
feel very nice to listen to you. We are already like second year that we are doing our mentorship program together, and me and Hanan, like I find myself in Hanan's story after. Actually, it was the very cute story because we preparing it together for the global mentorship program. It was
Yeah.
the first year that they started organizing global mentorship program, and because I always has camera on, and Hanan time to time also she has a camera
Mm,
on. She took a picture. She made a screenshot,
mm,
and after we both got Chevening, we don't know that we have been chosen for Chevening together, but we found it out each other. So it's a very lovely story, and you
yeah.
guys have an opportunity because of your small group that on WhatsApp that I created for you. Meet each other in London or like Glasgow or whatever city in UK, and it's gonna be very huge connection because Chevening is all about networking and like a big group of
Yeah.
family. So
Yeah. And
thank you so much again,
start.
Hannah.
Thank you, Maya. I just want to add something. Start to take picture and like keep these memories for yourself. You never know. You might create an highlight on your Instagram account or create a reel later on. capturing all this moment and having Maya's screenshot with me when I saw, like, I didn't saw her during the orientation, but out of sudden the mentorship program came out. I said I saw this girl before. I asked my friend, just tell her, is she this? It's the same person in this picture, and I found it. It is like she's Maya. So it's really, it's like, it's weird, I know, but nothing is impossible. You can meet each other when, who knows?
That's true. Thank you so much one more time.
Thank you, man.
Uh,
Thank you. Thank you.
yeah, you can change the uh, slide on Caribbean. Uh, yeah, for let's wait because for me it's still Hanan's slide. Yeah, I think yeah, Aminata, please go ahead. Or on Caribla, is it you or Aminata? Because now it's
It's me, sorry. It's something
all right.
it's
Go
weird.
ahead,
Yeah,
please.
it's
By the
me.
way, Onkari also was last year global mentor, part of the global mentorship program, and she shared a very inspiring speech last year for the applicants like you guys. So, floor is for you. Go ahead.
Thank you. Thanks. Hi, everyone. So yes, my name is Onkarabile Marumo, and I went to the University of East Anglia, and I did my MSc in Global Media Economics. So just a little bit of background. I think it'll also explain why I have put what I've put on the slides. Basically, my master's was also part of me doing like a career change. So I think maybe some of you guys are in one field or one sector in your industry and you're trying to move to a different field or a different industry. And sometimes these kind of questions come up as to like, why do you want to do the switch or things like that? So I'll touch on that a little bit later. But basically, I was pretty much within the economics investment management sector. And I've always done like emceeing and presenting on the side. So I was just like, well, how do I merge the two? And then I found UEA and I found this degree and got the scholarship and then, managed to kind of do that career change. So if there's anyone in that regard, I'll kind of get to that for examples. But basically, I just want to touch on four things today. The first one is BU, examples, you in the UK, and then questions. So, first of all, I think like everyone is probably going to tell you or mention to you is just be you, whoever you are. If you are an extrovert, if you are bubbly, if you are a bit more expressive, if you're shy, if you're an introvert, show that side of you because that's who you are. So, don't fake it or try to be like someone else that you've seen because you think they're going to like that. Um, Definitely just be who you want to be in that regard and who you are. So put your best foot forward and just show that personality of who you are because that's also who you're trying to kind of sell to the scholarship in the first place. And if you're trying to be like someone else, they're probably going to be like they already have another Ongarabile or whoever. So just be you and let your personality shine. Don't be shy, be quirky. For example, I know my interview was like in the afternoon and it was online. And I started off with a joke. Like as soon as everyone logged on, I was like, I hope all of you guys have had lunch. I hope you're happy. I hope you're not tired. If you're tired, please stand up and stretch because I need all the energy. And then the whole panel laughed. But that's just who I am. I just started off with a joke. So if that's the kind of person you are, don't be shy about letting that out. Obviously, be professional, obviously, read the room, but don't be shy to let your personality shine through. And then interview prep. So first of all, congratulations for making it to the interview stage. It means that you said something and showed something in your essays that made the people from the scholarship be interested in you, your brand, what you stand for, what you want to do, and what you're going to bring back to the country, to your country afterwards. So you already have a foot in the door. The interview is just about you explaining a little bit more of, maybe what you couldn't explain in the essay. So I would always say, think of like other examples, for example. So just go beyond what is in your essay. If you wrote that you are a manager at your organization and you came up with a project, that's a brilliant example. But what else have you done? Give them something a little bit different that is not just in your essays. If you have other examples, if you don't, go back to your existing examples as well and just polish that. Another thing is also just look out for trick questions, or what I call negative prone questions. For example, I got a question that they asked me something along the lines of, when was the time you were in a leadership position and you had to make a decision and you failed? Because usually you think about the good things, right? So you think about when you're a leader and when things are successful, but you never really think about when things went south and what you learned from that and what you could have done better. And so I got questions that were along those lines, like, when did I fail with a project? When did I fail as a leader? And what did I learn from those experiences? So make sure you have an answer to that as well, just in case they bring up something like that. And also, like, I think a lot of people will tell you, go over your essay. You don't want to write something in your essay and then they ask you about it and then you're like, I don't remember, So you want to make sure you know what you wrote in your essay and you have examples and reasons why you wrote the things you wrote in your essays. And back to the first one, then just add your personality. Be flexible. You can prepare a certain bunch of questions and they probably won't even ask you based on how the conversation goes. For example, I said I would touch on this. So I did a whole career switch, and a lot of my interview questions were based around why I'm doing the career switch, why I'm not staying in my industry, why I'm using the scholarship as an avenue to switch my career, why is it important for my country and for the mission and vision and aim and goal that I have. So just think about those things, because sometimes your whole interview can be centered around the importance of maybe the idea that you have. For example, when you come back home with your degree, what is that? And that could be the whole interview itself. So just be flexible towards different avenues in which your interview can go. And then you in the UK. So understand your university, your town, your course, why you chose the university you chose. What are you going to do when you're in the UK? Because obviously you're not just going to study. So what are you going to go do? Are you going to go see castles? Are you going to travel? Are you going to plow back into your university because they have a outreach program, for example, that you are very invested in, or there's a theatre community and you are part of the theatre community, so you feel like you can give back with your talents? What is your plan? What are you going to do? For example, one of my things, I was like, one thing I'm looking forward to is going to concerts, because I'm from South Africa and not a lot of international artists come to South Africa. So I was like, I'm looking forward to going to all the concerts that I can. And that's just the honest truth. I really love music. I'm passionate about music and media, and it's part of kind of what I do. And that's what I expressed. That was part of my plan. So it doesn't have to be academic based, but as long as they can also see that you are actually really invested in the university, you're invested in your course, and you're invested in the UK itself. So you're not just getting like a free holiday from the scholarship. Another thing, just in case this happens to you, because it happened to me, I had an alumni of my university as part of my panel, and she was asking me questions about the university from an alumni perspective. And that in itself is something that can throw you off, especially if you don't know anything about the university. So just be careful when you mention your universities, have a little bit of background of the course, the town, the institution, the lecturers, the teaching styles, just in case you get an alumni, because they can throw one of those trick questions and then you don't want to be dumbfounded speaking about wanting to go to a certain university and then the alumni of that university is in the interview room with you. And then last but not least, ask questions. So at the end of every interview, they kind of give you an opportunity to ask any questions that you may have. This is also the opportunity for you to address any issues around changing of universities, for example. That is like literally the last time, you can mention to them that you want to change any order of your choices and the reason why. But other than that, also ask questions. Ask yourself, what is it that you can bring to the table as a scholar? What do they need? What are they looking for? Ask yourselves those type of questions, and then ask them a question that is going to have your name stuck in their head for the rest of the day. Because what you kind of want to do is you want to leave an impression. There's thousands of us that are interviewing on a daily basis, and you want to make sure that this at the end, your last statement or the last question, just leaves that impression to say, yeah, Onkarabile, that was a good question. You know, it's just insightful. It shows interest, obviously, because you want to show that you're interested about not only the scholarship, the network, the country, the university. So ask questions and be very specific about your questions. And also just make sure that you check your approach regarding the questions as well, because you don't want to seem confused. So don't ask questions that are available on the website, because then it's going to show that you haven't taken the time to go to the website to read. So don't ask about deadlines. Don't ask about when they're going to get back to you, because that is already on the website itself. If you don't know, go to the website and make sure you know what's happening there, because you don't want to ask a question where the information is already available. And then last but not least, please stick to all your deadlines. So after this, you'll probably have some time to submit other things. Just make sure you stick to your deadlines. If you need to do an IELTS test, if you need to do any other kinds of tests, exams, check with your universities to get that unconditional confirmation letter, because you don't want that to be what's standing in between you and the scholarship at the end of the day. So make sure you meet your deadlines. And that's it from me. Good luck for every single one of you. Well done for making it this far. My details are at the bottom, both on LinkedIn and Instagram. Feel free to message me if you have any questions, or if you want to chat, or if you want to run through some mock interviews. I am more than willing, but otherwise, all the best. And when you make it to the other side, enjoy your time in the UK, because that year moves by so quickly.
Thank you so much. I enjoy your speech so much. Thanks again for your time and for
Thank
your
you.
positivity you bring on our table. And yeah, we can say that we will never forget on Karibile for our as a speaker. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Uh, yeah, you can change the slide, and Aminata, floor is for you. Please go ahead. But one thing that we can see you, I don't know if you know, but your camera is off. Aminata, are you here? We can hear you.
I think she left the chat, the meeting. Maybe
Okay.
she has
So
issues.
yeah, I think she has some. Yeah, let me ask. So sorry for that, guys, again. Um, Meantime, if you have a question to these two speaker that they already finished, you can go ahead, and whenever Aminata come back, she can continue that. Yeah, I see. Siri, I see your hands. Please go ahead.
Hi, good evening or good afternoon or good morning wherever you are. I'm concerned about changing of universities. Is it possible that I could change up to 2 universities?
Hi, Sylvie. According to the Chevening website, yes, you can change if you want 3 courses even. But my personal opinion regarding this matter, I don't recommend changing. Like it is my own idea. Maybe on Kara later on she can give you what she think about. But I think if you stick with one change, like give them a very convenience reasons. Why you want to change, don't mention like the reason is rejection or something like that, or you don't have any offer yet. I think in my opinion it's just better to left a very good impression about yourself, because if you change to university, it means to university, and two part of your why study in the UK essay will be changed, right? And everything about this will be changed. I see it better if you change only one course only.
Yeah, I will just add some details because I had the experience to change the
Yeah,
university. I
yeah.
completely agree with Hanan. And that time when I was on the interview stage, my mentor keeps saying to me, Maya, you have already unconditional letter. Don't change. Don't make like don't make these changes. And I don't realize why he was like rushed to me and he was like, don't change it. Fine. At the end of the story, I changed the university, but I only made one changes. But I had a very strong reason, academical reason why I wanted to change. So if whenever you change, make it changes, make sure that your reason are very strong. In my case, I had a situation that I have chosen something that unfortunately on the year that I have to go to the study, they changed some curriculum. So some subject that I was interested in, they changed completely. So they were not going to study these two subject anymore, and it was based on inclusive education. So I really wanted to study these two, and I give them the reason like, okay, because I changed my university because I had a face like a Zoom meeting with a course leader. I talked to her and she find it out that they are not focused about inclusive education anymore. So my interest, as I mentioned on my essay, is to be focused about inclusive education. So the program that I changed, it was general education. So I told them I love to study general education, but as you know, I'm interested in the inclusive education. And my key point during the whole interview was to focus about inclusive education. So I give them a strong reason why I changed my university. If you have some academical reason why you changing university, that's okay because it's not based on your leadership activities. Otherwise, I don't recommend it you to change to universities because it's emphasized that, as Hanan mentioned, you change like half of your part from the YUK part, and you are on the stage because of your essay. So what you have written in your essays. So I don't think that it's good idea. I hope that we cover your question. Aminata is coming back for us and she will go back to the, let's go back for the slide and then after we can, of course, definitely move for the question answer part. Go
All
ahead,
right,
floor
thank
is
you so
for
much.
you.
Okay,
Thank
I'm
you
so
very much.
sorry. I'm so sorry. Can I ask a question because it is related to changing before Aminata starts talking? Can I ask?
Uh, I think it will be better if we continues. Does not matter the topic if we continues after the like slides will finish for the speaker.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Maya. I was already panicking and it felt like I was on my evening interview again. I was like, oh my God, I can't get disconnected. But I'm so glad that I'm back. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning from wherever you're joining us from. This is my Charlie Bear saying hi to you and congratulations for making it this far to the evening interview. I'm going to be giving some tips, just like my colleagues and mentors have already done so. And it's not always good to speak last, though, because it means you just have to re-emphasize what has already been said. But I'll give it a try. Yeah, so the first advice I have is to be authentic. I know this has already been said, but it's just more specific to my personal experience and to say that talk about your accomplishments. There is no right and wrong answer for evening interview because there is no form of answer that is specific to the whole world. Everyone's answer is specific to their individuality and to their own accomplishments and also lived experiences. So be as much authentic as possible. When I say this, it doesn't mean that You have to talk about big accomplishments. It's okay to talk about big accomplishments if you have accomplished it, but do not underrate the small little accomplishments you have done, let's say in the remotest part of your country or in the remotest part of your village or any part of your setup. So be as much as authentic as possible, own up your accomplishments and talk honestly. Right. And whatever you're going to say, it has to also link to your essays. It has to be something that you have done or actually talked about. By this, I mean that you have to actually focus on what work you do and how that work is relating to your Chevening questions, but also to your general accomplishments. So the second tip is to use the STAR approach. I know this has been said severally. You will find this information on the Chevening website, or even some of the Chevening alumni would give this advice. And this is to show that that bit of it is so important, and it also gives you a structure with regards to your answer, but also makes you really talk about what you want to talk about in a very short time. So this could be like analyzing a situation. Let's say in my case, I am more focused on gender equality. So I would be like, okay, the situation could be addressing sexual violence, for example, and the task might be, so the situation might more or less like be a problem that you might want to address, just to give you an example or a context specific to an answer. So this would apply differently to people, but for example, if I'm going to talk about sexual violence, that might be the situation that I want to address. So let's say the task I did in addressing that form of violation could be I was tasked with passing communication, I was tasked with writing a report or writing a proposal for funding, that all of those things are tasks, right? So in terms of action, action would be what steps did I take to actually make sure the situation is addressed? Let's say I initiated communications, I spoke to people, I raised funding, I raised a lot of amount of money, I did advocacy. So it's more or less about what activities did you take to actually address the situation, and let's say the results could be what impact did you get. And I always want to emphasize the bit of impact whenever I speak to people, because our accomplishments are not complete if there's no impact. So impact could be big or small, it doesn't matter, but what change did you create in the lives of people? And this is an opportunity also to talk about a good leadership skill, which is about continuity of impact. So it could be like you reached 100 people, you reached 50 people, but what have you changed in the lives of those people? So I remember giving an example of saying, okay, I mentored young girls in terms of leadership in my country, in terms of advocacy against gender-based violence. And I also said, at some point, I recruited some of those girls to serve as volunteers in my organization. And getting the Chevening will give me a chance to continue the work that I am doing in the Gambia, because these girls are going to continue the work that I've already started. That is impact, and it also shows continuity. So it will be different in different contexts or different situations, but it's always good to give your responses to using the STAR approach, because it actually gives a sequence to your response, but also actually talks about the impact that you have created in your community. So the other point I want to emphasize is understanding your program, how your program relates to the needs of your country, how your degree actually is important to the needs of your country. You're not just going to Chevening to study and go back to your country and maintain a particular situation. You have to understand why you're taking this particular program and why you think that particular program needs to be addressed or needs to be funded for you to impact change in your country. So it also brings about the need of the activity you are doing, and it also gives you an opportunity to understand the particular context that you are relating to or that you're actually working in. So in terms of gender equality, for instance, I was like, okay, I am into gender equality advocacy, but there are a lot of issues arising in terms of backlash towards women's rights movement, backlash in digital technologies towards victims or all of those issues arising. And I spoke about rape, for example, and I felt there was a need to build the capacity of women, especially young women, to step up the advocacy. And I also spoke about the retirement of all the advocates in terms of gender equality and the need for young people to step up. So that's the need that your country has. So you have to really understand what importance does your program has on your country. What impact are you going to create after your country has after your program has ended? But also try to link it to the SDGs, because there's global attention right now on the implementation of the Sustainable Development Goals. And whatever you talk about, whatever program you're doing would one way or the other fall under one of the 16 or 17 Sustainable Development Goals. So try to link it to the SDGs and how your program is going to complement the implementation or the advancement of the Sustainable Development Goals, but also understand, link your program to some extent with, let's say, what the UK is doing in your country. If your program has an interest in what the UK government is doing in your country and you understand how that particular partnership is building up in your own country, it could be an opportunity for you to bring that up and say, okay, this is an interest that I have, and I know it's a priority interest area for my country, and the UK is even partnering with my country to do this. So I think this would be very important to actually speak about this or actually study this program. But to add that, you have to understand your universities. Like one of my colleagues said, you really have to understand what universities you're going to study in, what makes the university so unique for you and not you choosing other universities. Maybe the social life, the culture, the ranking, you know, the opportunities the university has to offer. Maybe if you have examples of alumni that have gone to the university and they're doing amazingly well in your country, you could talk about them. You can talk about the impact the university has on other alumni that you also know about. Yeah, so the other thing could also be understanding your career plan, knowing what you want to do after Chevening. So it's not only about going to study and coming back without having a sense of direction. So one advice I would always tell people is always have a very, very good career plan. So as a start, it could be a short term, a middle term, and a long term career plan. And you have to be as much realistic, as honest as possible. You're not there to tell them that you are perfect. They know you're not perfect. And when you're feasible, people know when you're being feasible, so organizing your career plan in 3 different segments to say, this is my short-term career plan. In the first 2 years, this is what I want to do. In the second 5 years, this is what I want to do. And in long-term plan, this is what I want to do. So try to analyze, organize your career plan in a way that is as realistic as possible, but also is time-bound to actually tell them, okay, you're not just going to do it, but you understand why you particularly want to do that career plan. The other thing is being unique. Think about what makes you different. Achieving it so competitive, give them as many reasons as possible as to what makes you different. And this is where you have the opportunity to talk about unique initiatives or programs you're doing in your own way. And when I say uniqueness, it doesn't have to be like something that the whole world is doing, but it's about something that is so particularly important and it's so impactful in your own country. And I remember talking about a cartoon movie that I produced, for example, in my country, and I linked it to, giving them real examples, which is also so very important, telling them, okay, I think I am a very good fit for the Chevening program. This is what I am already doing. And when I get the Chevening, it's even going to be amazingly more than what I am just doing. It's going to be more than what I am doing now. And I'm going to achieve bigger impact through this particular initiative and community. Connect yourself to the program you're looking for, which we spoke about a bit not long ago. Also demonstrate your leadership and networking skills. So Chevening, it's not just an opportunity to study, but it's an opportunity to build your networks. It's an opportunity to expand your connections. And this also brings me back to not moving your networking skills to say, okay, I'm going to network with this person. Show them that you're already building your networks and you've already started doing it. And I remember a very good example or a striking example that I gave was my networks with Maya. I told them, okay, in fact, if not for the networking opportunity between Chevening and the Gambia, I wouldn't have been on this interview stage. And at some point, all of them were laughing and they're, oh, okay. So I was like, okay, I've already started building my networks because I have connected with the Chevening Global Mentorship Program. And luckily for me, at some point, by then, Chevening posted Maya 3 days ago. I think Maya did a volunteering exercise in one of the communities and Chevening posted about her. I was like, one of the Chevening scholars you posted 3 days back is my mentor. I've already started networking globally. So it's like, you know what you're doing and you know what you want as an individual, right? I'm not telling them that I'm going to network when I go to the UK, but I'm giving them real examples and realistic examples to say, okay, I have already started doing this. And there was already available evidence online to show I have already started doing it. I remember the deputy ambassador was like, the deputy high commissioner was laughing at some point. I was like, yeah, I have already started networking. In fact, one of the scholars that was posted in the Chevening group is my mentor, and I've already started connecting with her. So it's like being strategic, being honest, but also not underrating the small networks you have started building, because this was a very good networking opportunity for me. I got access to get mock interviews, so it was really, really important to bring that out, to talk about it. So express your networking skills as much as possible. Show them what you're doing with your networking skills and how impactful your networking skills are. The next point I would like to emphasize is do not cram your responses. Always link your answer to your essays, but do not cram it. Be as much conversational as possible. Like the answers or the responses would naturally come out if you understand what you're doing or what you're saying or what you're talking about. So do not cram your essays or to say, okay, this person has been asked these questions. Let me also prepare for those questions. The questions and the advice is just a guide to show you how to go about stuff, but always try to be conversational, talk about your experience. It's your achievement. It's what you have done. It's something that you have to own up to. So be as much as conversational as possible and be as much realistic as possible. Then the other thing will be relax, take a pause if necessary. Don't be under pressure. They will be so nice people, try to be as much relaxed as possible. If you feel panic at some point, you could be like, okay, excuse me, can you please repeat the question? You might take a glass of water and drink. I remember drinking all their water on the table on that day. So all of those things are ways of managing your anxiety at some point. But it's like also trying to be relaxed, trying not to panic, because the moment you panic, it mixes you up, like it always disorganizes you, and like it could spoil your entire interview. So they're really nice people. Try to be as much conversational as possible, try to network, try to be nice, and also try to be calm as much as possible. So finally, I have just one or two things to say, which is there is no single right or wrong answer. The answer is much more specific to you as an individual. And also talk about your achievable goals. Do not be so modest. By this, I mean, do not hide your achievements, brag about your achievements, talk about them, talk about your impact. It's your story. No one else is going to talk about it if you don't talk about it. And also focus on yourself and not the team. Don't always say, we did this, we did this. It's always good to acknowledge a team, but always talk about how you yourself played a key role in that particular achievement, and never be tired of practicing, especially in your smaller groups. I remember my group was a group of 10. It was only the three of us that were very, very passionate and really showed interest in practicing among our groups. Unfortunately, all of us got chevening. So it could be you next year. Thank you so much. See you in the UK next year by September. This year by September, by the way. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Oh my God, you make me laugh. Thank you so much, Aminata, for your energy, and thanks for all the memories that you mentioned, because I do remember how we passed this stage together. And yeah, I'm so happy that you are here and you share this experience, because like we had unfortunately the accident. One of the person told me like it's wasting of time to being in this program, like global mentorship program. So thanks that you are the example that and we had a lot of speaker who was benefit from the global mentorship program. So I'm happy that it's not just like our effort to want to share the experience. It's also like we see people who already got benefit. And last year I just want to be like proud of our speakers, because they also benefit last year. So we had a 237 person totally, and Chevening have sent the love letter for 135 people, and I have seen them in the UK last year. So I'm happy to doing that, and thank you for my colleagues for being here and for the time that they spent to share the experience. It's mean a lot, and I'm more than sure, guys, that if you keep practicing, as my colleagues mentioned, a lot of time and doing and use the opportunity in your small chat of WhatsApp, will affect you, like benefit you. And all the tips that we share for you during this session's time, it's our experience, but remember all the tips that we repeat, because it's mean that this is the golden key for you. So let's move for the last slide, because it's the question answer time. And I just want to mention that tomorrow we will have one more session. I will post about this very soon on our Facebook page, and I will share also link and detail on your email. So I have seen, I think one of the person already had a question regarding the university changes. So we can start from this person and then we move for the people who raised the hands.
Okay, thank you so much. This was me. This was I
Yes,
who had
go
a
ahead,
question.
please.
Oh, yeah, thank you again. Thank you guys for your tips. Firstly, they will help us, I'm hopeful. And my question is not about changing the universities, but reprioritizing the universities. So what if I prioritize again? And I have some academic reasons why I reprioritized my universities. What happens in this case?
Guys, you can answer the question.
What do you mean? Like during the interview, you want to say, for example, like changing the order of the universities?
Yeah, changing, I mean changing the order, yes.
Look, never like inshallah, if you got selected for the Chevening for the later stage, like selected as a Chevener for a life, the program officer will pick up the first choice, but you are free to change it to the other options if you have unconditional offer. Like if it is not necessary, don't worry. Like if you got unconditional offer from any choices that you have, you can go to that choice. So
Okay, now in
there's
my
no need
case,
to
I've
just
got
changing the
three.
orders. Hmm?
Well, in my case, I've got 3 unconditional letters,
Yeah.
and still I reprioritize universities.
It's up to you if you want to change the order, but like I'm just afraid you might open new doors for yourself. They might ask you why you want to change the order, and at the end you are free to choose any one of them. Like if you like the third option that you have right now, if you got selected, you can tell your program officer, this is my unconditional offer from my third choice. Please, I want to proceed with this
Okay.
course, and you will go for it.
It might not be, so as I understood, it might not be necessary to mention this one during the interview stage, during the
Yeah,
interview.
in my opinion, yes, it's not necessary.
Okay, okay, thank you so much.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
absolutely. I will just add a little comment, Maria. So you don't have to change any order because it's up to you at the end of the process which university you will go. So don't worry, you are safe place. You don't have to mention or make the confuse for the panelists because they might have some follow-up questions. So it's just if it's in the three university that you have written in the application and
Yeah.
you got unconditional offer, you are safe. You don't have to worry about
Okay.
this.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're welcome. You, Lisa, you are first who raised the hand for in my list. Go ahead, please. Directly question because we are already 1 hour and 5 minutes on the session.
Okay, thank you. My question is, what strategy do you recommend if actually I got the rejection of my first option, but I want to introduce another option that is cheaper of the two that I already have? Do I do that during the career path questions or studying the UK, or maybe I just have to wait until the final of the interview and just up to the partner? What do you recommend?
Regarding changes of your university, I think like everyone has kind of mentioned, just make sure firstly your reason is valid. And if it's a rejection one, I think you just want to make sure you are phrasing that correctly because you don't want to say, I got rejected for my first choice, so I'm changing the order. You know, just like I'm not saying lie, but yeah, you want to put your best foot forward, and saying that you got rejected for the one you put as your first choice doesn't necessarily sound like best foot forward. Obviously, we all know that there's other reasons why you can be rejected from a university. So it doesn't necessarily take away from your greatness, but you just want to make sure you structure it correctly. But you do then want to tell them. So if, for example, your first option is changing and you're taking something that you didn't write your essay about, you want to mention that. Sometimes they will ask you, depending on the flow of questions. So I can't necessarily guarantee that they're going to ask you specifically, like, are these your choices? And then you can confirm. Or if they're going to ask you about, like, why you chose the universities, and then you explain, and then that's when you can bring it up. But just make sure that, like, if, for example, there hasn't been a question that relates to your university choices, then at the end, you must at least end the interview telling them that you are changing your order. So I think just read the room depending on the questions asked and how you answer it, but don't leave the interview without telling them that you're making that change.
Thank you so much.
Uh, B, go ahead, please.
Okay, thank you. My question is for Honorable. I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name. Um, you said something about deadlines before, keeping deadlines. Yeah, if I am correct.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So you because you specifically mentioned IELTS, I wanted to ask about that. See, the thing is, my the university I want to go to did offer me a conditional offer based on the fact that I update my IELTS because it will have expired by September 2024. So, but the thing is, see, I applied to this university in 2022 and they accepted me for 2023. And then I asked for a deferral and they deferred it for me. So initially they did give me an unconditional offer, but this time since my IELTS is going to expire, that's why the offer is now conditional. You think that would matter or be considered as not meeting a deadline? Because I do have another unconditional offer, but the one I want to go to gave me a conditional one based on that I update my IELTS test. Is that a problem?
I think you can always just double check with your university. The universities are very, like, friendly if you just explain to them, because sometimes, like, depending on the system, it's like I'll read your email today and I'll respond, and then tomorrow you send me another email and then somebody else reads it and they respond and they don't have the backstory. So just make sure that, like, you give them a call or you just write an email with all the documentation and the previous, like, confirmation of deferral, and ask them if it's an issue. If they say you must take the IELTS test again, then what you want to do is just make sure that you take the test that you need to, because what you don't want is Chevening gives you an offer and then you get your award letter and they're like, congratulations. And then you're like, I don't have an unconditional offer. Because then I know, for example, that happened to a few people in my cohort. They didn't meet the deadlines and then they didn't get the scholarship just because they didn't have the unconditional offer for their university that they wanted. So if you are fine with switching, then you can forego your first choice. But I would personally just say, do whatever it is that you can do to get the unconditional offer. If they've given it to you before, if you can give them a call, organize a Teams meeting with them, or send them an email explaining your whole story, and they'll be able to understand because they've kind of dealt with you before. But just make sure you just meet those deadlines, because you don't want something like a conditional offer to stand in between you and this opportunity.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. Jana, go ahead, please.
Hello, everyone. So my question is for Kabzir. I hope I'm saying it right. So you talked about a challenging question during your interview. So I would like to ask you about your point of view. Like, what is the ideal answer about when we asked about like a challenging leadership role, or when we were failing as a leaders, because it's a challenging like to recall an event of failure as a leader and talk about it. So this is my first question, and I have just a second question about your experience at the University of East Anglia, because I was searching for like Chevening scholars in the university just to know about their experiences, because I didn't find so much. So I would like just to know about your experience.
Okay, so firstly, the excuse me, the answer just about like the negative questions. Obviously you want to put your best foot forward, right? You want to brag about all your accolades and but we all kind of have a time where we were maybe new somewhere and we didn't know everything and we didn't do something right and there were consequences. So I think the first thing is just own up to it. You know, just kind of be like, yes, there was a time when I slipped up or I failed as a leader and this is what happened, and just be honest, you know, tell them the story that like, and do the star thing as well. So this was the situation, this was the task at hand, this is the actions that I took, or the decisions that I made as a leader in that situation, and this was the outcome. We didn't meet our target, or instead of getting 500 people to come to the event, only 5 people came to the event, and you know, or whatever the case might be. Mention all of like, mention the things that went wrong, and then mention what you've learned from it. Because I think that's what they're trying to see is, okay, so you failed, but how did you take that failure and turn it into success? So then you mention, okay, so from this experience, I learned 1, 2, and 3, and now I make sure that I double check everything and everyone before I submit a document. I make sure I speak to my manager first. I make sure I do this and this and this and this, because now you've had that experience before. So there is always a learning curve from things that go south. So just bring that up and say, this is what I've learned. It was a bad experience. If I could go back, I would maybe go back and change it, but it's made me a better person because now I know 1, 2, and 3. So it's always a positive, add a positive spin to the end of it and tie it off or wrap it up with like a lesson. And don't be afraid or shy to speak about your failures, because everyone somewhere somehow has failed at some point. So, and if they haven't, then like, I don't know, they're just weird. But everyone has failed at some point, so don't be like shy to speak about that. And then about UEA, you should message me so we can have a chat, because I can speak about this university forever. It's really an amazing university. They are very supportive, especially for like international students. They like the campus culture is amazing. The city and the town is great. It's like a train ride from London. So if you ever need to be in London all the time for like Chevening events, you're kind of around the corner. Everyone is great. The people that go to the university are great. The lecturers are great. The facilities are great. The food is great. So like, it's really just a really great choice. And if depending on your reasons for choosing that university, I don't think you will regret the university or the town. But feel free to message me and I'll tell you more details about the university, because I love it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Kelly, go ahead, please.
Oh, thank you for this session. My question is about achieving values. If if you say something about that, and it's like an answer, like a motivator answer. The question why you be chosen for achieving. So I don't know if you can say something about that, about your experience. I know it's the answer, personal answer, but you can say something about that. Why you? Why me in this journey? And as I can say that I didn't expect this email. My interview is this Tuesday, so I'm very nervous for that. Thank
I didn't get the first question, but I think the second question was about why you, like why we should choose you, right?
Yeah, the first question
Yeah,
she was asking about the values. Like, should we mention values? I think something like that.
yeah,
Um,
Chile.
Like it's always good to mention values, like it's always good your answer to be specific and to be special for you, and uh, show your personality. Like it's always good to put your touch in all answers, like your answer not be generic. Try your best to be as specific as you can. Regarding why should Chevening choose you out of the thousands of the applicants globally applying, you should show them your potential as a leader and as a change maker in your community. What makes you standing out from your community while others not? What you have done. Yeah. So what you have done, the ability for building relationship, using that relationship to get a positive impact and a huge impact in your community, how people getting benefit from you, what you will add to the Chevening, not like it is a win-win situation. Okay, you are taking some things from Chevening, but what you're gonna add to the Chevening later on after completing your study, like in my opinion, in this way, like you can approach your answer.
About your
Kelly, you
first
got
yeah, I think
yeah.
she was asking about the first question, like cheapening value. I'm not sure because internet connection was not very clear for me, and like your question coming like very word by word. So if we did not cover, please can you repeat your first question and we will try to cover it. Uh, Kelly, I think it was you, right?
Yeah, yeah. Can you say something? I know it's really looking people who make impact in the in home country. So I know the some of how you demonstrate your leadership, your networking, but my question is about why me? O sea, I mean, why me? So if, if you can say something about your experience, uh, uh, how you can answer that question. I know it's difficult. Believe that.
Yeah, the way I answered you, if they approach me this, if they ask me this answer as this question, I will answer in this way, and everyone has different approach of answering question. Like this is what I would do if I have been asked this question. I don't know, like I can't add any other points. I don't know if my colleagues have other points that they can add to the answer, so you can get
I
benefit from.
I just
But
want to add
you have to
that
put
if
your character, like don't yeah, like don't
uh,
depend on our answer. Like you have to yeah.
yeah, I agree, Hanan. Like everyone of us, we have our own approach. I think if you, like you have to find your comfortable way. If I would ask this question, I would present it them that I am a like a educator leader, and inclusive education is not very uh, like common in my country, and we have lack of information about the inclusive education. So I will present it them. I'm a educator who will go coming back to Georgia and will change the field of education because I will have a full of information about inclusive education. So you have to present it yourself as a leader who will go back in your country and will change the field, share the information, and etc. I hope that we like try to cover your question. If there is still question, maybe our colleagues on Caribou can add something more.
Yeah, no, that it works. Thank
Okay, Sakina, please go ahead.
Yes, hello everyone, and thank you very, very much, dear all mentor. I much appreciate your time and effort. I learn more. Thank you very much. I have two questions. First of all, if I didn't tell in the interview that I want to change my courses, after interview finish, can I change my course or not? It's possible or not? Another question is that about leadership skills. All mentors say that you have to use like a star method. When I use star method, we have to say the first time we have to say one challenges or one problem. It is mandatory to have be start with the problem or situation, or we can say just the situation, not the problem. Just say that we do like this, and the action is this, and the result is that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sakina. Regarding changing the university, the only chance you have is during the interview. You can change the university, but in a very special and rare circumstances, you can change it after the interview. But this is like 0.0001%, which happened with me. But the only chance you have is during the interview. So try your best. Decide if you want to change any of the university. If you have rejection, definitely you have to change that course. Don't depend on 0.0001% chance after the interview. Do your best to settle yourself and everything that you have now this period before the interview. And if you want to change it during that interview. The second question was about the STAR approach. It is not necessary to mention the challenge that you face during that leadership experience or example, but it's always mandatory for a better approach of answering to mention the situation. Situation means problem. The problem that you found in your country or in your community, the thing that you found that you need to be the change maker and to do the activity that you have done already and to get the result that you got already. So like, what is the problem to get this result? Like, there should be something to getting this thing. So it's always necessary to mention the situation and the problem.
So, okay, just to add to that, with regards to the STAR approach, I don't think just one approach also works for everyone. And we have also talked about that since we started, right? So getting the STAR approach might not necessarily mean it has to be like all the time, you talking about, listing, let's say, this is the situation, this is what I did, and this is what I was tasked with, and this was the result. So responses could come from people differently by using the STAR approach. So for example, I could say I implemented this particular project, right? And I impacted the lives of this amount of people. That is a result I am bringing at first, but it still will have the STAR approach to say, okay, because I implemented this particular number of people's lives, during this project implementation, I realized that this was the problem and this is what I did to address the problem. I am still using the STAR approach. I am still using the STAR, but bringing the results first and also later talking about what the problem was and how the problem started. So like we said, it doesn't have to be like, okay, I have to identify the situation. I have to bring the task. So if you're thinking like that in your response, it could be confusing because we all have different situations and we all approach situations differently. But at the end of the day, the results is achieved. So that is the idea. The idea is talk about the situation, the results, the task, but it doesn't always have to be always bringing the situation first. It could be the other way around, but it still will be applying the STAR approach and getting your work done. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, guys. Afreen, go ahead, please. We have one more question, and that's gonna.
Okay, first I would like to thank you all for your valuable advice. My question is for Hanan. As I saw, she is studying in Queen Mary University of London, and Queen Mary University of London is my first choice, and I have got unconditional offer. So I want to know more about the university, like their environment and anything else special. Can you tell me about it?
Like if you want to know something specific about the university, you can drop me a message on Instagram. I can answer you. However, my course was really intensive. I didn't get in touch with students and like I didn't had the experience like, you know, because my course was really intensive, 5 days a week, classes from the morning until 5 p.m. But the location is good. It's close to the center. It's very diverse. The team, the administration team, they are really supportive. The curriculum, the ranking of the university, and etc. But if you have any specific things you want to know about the university, you can always ask me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mohammed, please go ahead.
Hello, everyone. Okay, I have two questions. First question is, for instance, after graduation from university, I have been studying in a foreign country about 7 years. And after finishing my bachelor degree, I started work on that foreign country. I mean, after finishing my school, I haven't been in my country. Now, about my career plan. I said that I will, after finishing my master degree in UK, I will do like this in my own country. What do you suggest? Even I haven't been in my country about 7 years, and how can I well make impact on my country? That was the first question. The second question is that having unconditional offer, is it make our chance higher than having conditional offer or not? Thank you.
Um, Regarding the second question is easy and the answer is quick, so I'll start with that one, then go back to the first one because it's a bit complicated. Um, Personally, when I went to the interview, I didn't have any offer, not conditional or unconditional. So I think it doesn't matter. What does matter is your performance during the interview and how you what the impression you left in their minds. So this is matter. Later on, you can apply and you can proceed, but they will ask you, for example, do you have any offer? You can simply say no, I don't have any offer yet, but I applied and waiting for a decision. Regarding the second question, which is like you mentioned, I don't know, like what you wrote on your essay, the leadership and networking. It's the same thing, that things you have done in your own country or the other country.
Not about leadership and influence and network. I have done all these in a foreign country, not my own country. Because after finishing my bachelor degree, I have started working here as an architect. Then I haven't been in my own country. Then in my career plan, I told him that after finishing my master degree from urban planning, I will go back in my own country. I will do blah blah something like that.
And genuinely, you will go back to your country and work for your country.
Uh,
Like
of
if
course.
yes, so if yes, that's it. Like you will work for your country. Like this is it's a weird question, but I think some people face these things. I don't know if my answer is the best thing, but before answering, do you mention in any part of your essay that you have been in other country outside of your country for 7 years or not?
Of course, I have mentioned, and also all
Okay.
my leadership skills and what I did, what I wrote in my essay, all is on a foreign country, not my own country. Just
Okay.
except, except one work that I did in my country. I worked as a software support administrator in Whole Price Foundation, and also I worked in the online format, not offline.
Okay, then this might be a bit of challenging thing for you. You have to convince them then you will be back to your country. You have to be familiar with the problem that's present in your country right now, the UK priority toward this problem, the SDG goal, and your plan. Prepare a very strong, convincing answer because they might ask you like, how we will know you will be back? So you have to have a very strong and ready answer for this question. This might be a challenge for you, but you can deal with it. It's not something difficult or impossible, I think. If my colleagues they have any points, they can add to mine as well.
Okay, and thank you for your suggestion and your answer. I should mention that I'm from Afghanistan. Now, for this year, the Chevening scholarship granted for those Afghan who are not in Afghanistan, therefore out of Afghanistan from a foreign country. I think it will be a good chance for me that I I were in a foreign country for a while.
You hold two passport?
No, I'm not.
Yes, Afghanistan from inside Afghanistan cannot apply to Chevening. We have to outside of Afghanistan.
I
don't know
think
about
then
this.
that's also like something that you can mention, because if that's a clause that if you're within your home country you can't apply, then that's also another reason why it's beneficial for you to be out of the country and to apply. But I think also you've mentioned that you've been living somewhere else for about 7 years, and 7 years, depending on the country, you're pretty much almost reaching citizenship status. So depending on what your documentation is, then you can also just mention that. But you also just have to be like honest. If you are really going back to your home country and the things that you said you're going to do them, then that's fine, regardless of where you've been. If you're not going to go back to your home country and you're going to go back to the country that you are in now, then you also need to be honest about that. Because obviously the panel is aware of exclusion issues, issues within like different countries as well. So if there is another reason, for example, a health and safety issue as to why you're saying you're not going to go back to your home country, then you can mention that and say that, however, I'm still a leader who can do A, B, and C, and I'll still be able to execute my vision from far because I've got networks in the country that I can communicate with. So it's just about how you answer your question, but also don't lie. Just be honest and tell them where you are, why you are there. And like you guys said, people from inside Afghanistan can't apply. So this is also just an opportunity for you to raise that up and say, I'm also in a different country, which gives me the opportunity to be in this platform and to be here. So therefore, maybe you want to use that avenue to then go back to your home country because you weren't able to do it before. So you can decide how you want to phrase it, but just be honest as well.
Yeah,
Thank
I
you.
think it's gonna be also nice if you find any alumni from your country. They might have some specific answer regarding this because I remember on our time, like when was the mentorship program, we had a one girl from Afghanistan, but she did not go back to her country because of the safety. So I think in this regard, you also might mention, like my colleague said already, like maybe you can say you are a leader, you can do something online, like you will still doing some effort to benefit your country because tuning is all about to like bring your knowledge to your home country. So if I don't know your field and the specific like a case, but I advise you maybe if it's something possible that you can do online and your people or your home country can receive your knowledge or it's gonna be beneficial for them, you might mention that. And like yeah, one more time, if you will have opportunity to find the uh, people from Afghanistan who already done chevening, it's gonna be much better because we are not enough qualified for the to like give you the specific answer because it's a little bit different than our situation. So it's gonna be much beneficial for you.
Okay.
Y-
Thank you for
yeah,
your
I
answer.
think yeah, that was all for today. Thank you so much for girls to be with me and share their experience. Thank you guys for being with us, and we hope that our experience and our program will be beneficial for you, and you will be much confident and yourself on the interview stage, because this is the situation that you have to prove yourself and show the panels that you are someone who are shining, who will be changing, like who is the leader who will change the world. And if it's not world, at least she or he will start doing and make a positive impact for the small community that you are coming from. So thank you so much, and we are waiting for you tomorrow at 6 p.m. for UK time. And it's gonna be our last session, gonna be your last chance to ask the question directly to the alumni or the fellow Cheveners. Thank you so much again.
Thank you and good luck, everyone. I hope